Hello everyone, this is Jessica from Shuffling Fate. Thanks for visiting my channel again, and happy World Tarot Day to you. Today, across the world, usually tarot enthusiasts come together and share their laughter, their wisdom, and their knowledge of these cards together. I'm currently on a Facebook group that is a wonderful community, and we've been chatting all day with each other, sharing this joyous occasion. And earlier today, somebody had posted about finding a good spread to use for World Tarot Day. And I thought that's an excellent idea. And I got to thinking, what would be a really good spread to do? I couldn't really think of anything, and then people had posted some ideas. Someone in particular, I don't want to say any names in case they're uncomfortable with that, gave me a great idea for a deck interview spread with a twist. This here is my Otis Tarot. This is the Goddess Tarot by Chris Waddell. And this is the Llewellyn Tarot, and this is the newest tarot addition to my family. I did purchase some decks today, of course. It is World Tarot Day. I did pick up the Clover Tarot, and I got the Sassy She Oracle, and the World Spirit Tarot. They had been sitting on my deck wish list for a while, and I got paid today, which is the perfect day to get paid. It's on World Tarot Day. If you're sort of a deck obsessed person like I've become recently for some random reason. This Goddess Tarot by Chris Waddell was the only tarot that I used for the first 8 years of my practice, and it taught me so much. I was very deeply connected to it. And this actually isn't that deck. I was in a house fire. Nobody was hurt, but we lost probably 95% of our possessions. I had this tarot deck sitting on my desk, and when the fire happened, I panicked, of course, but I grabbed everything off my desk and shoved it into my purse. Well, I had forgotten that I had placed a card on my altar. So when we went back, I was going through the deck one day. I was like, well, at least I got my tarot deck, yay! And then I found out later on going through the deck that I was missing a card. Because I had remembered, oh no, was that card on the altar? And it was. Which, funny enough, had something to do with, cleansing, completely starting over, getting rid of the old things that don't serve you any. Yeah, be careful what cards you place on your altar, guys. I'm just saying. Anyways, back to the spread. The spread idea was, if anybody has ever gotten a new deck and you've done a deck interview spread, this is sort of what this is. A deck interview spread is just when you lay out some cards, kind of ask some questions, get to know your new deck. I thought it would be cool if you had your oldest deck interview your newest deck. So, without further ado, I've already shuffled these up, so it would save a little bit of time. I'm going to scoot these over and out of the way a bit. Actually, I'll probably just take them off frame. And we'll go ahead and lay out the cards. I'm going to have the Goddess Tarot interview the Llewellyn, and the Llewellyn is simultaneously going to be interviewing the Goddess Tarot, and we'll see how this goes. I just have a couple questions I jotted down to sort of, just a basic, kind of what I thought would be appropriate for this. Of course, you can add more to this if you wanted to at your home. I have limited space here, so I'm going to try to stay within the confines of this. Okay, so the Goddess is first. We're going to ask, what is your first impression of the Llewellyn Tarot? We get the Four of Pentacles here. The Four of Pentacles, to me, represents... I'm going to bring this a little bit closer so you guys can see. Come on, focus. Focus. Okay, my camera is being not friendly. There we go. And this, to me, of course, in the upright position, would be somebody who was very, very... I've been stumbling over my words all day, so please forgive me. Somebody who's very closed off, somebody who holds on to things and doesn't want to let them go, someone who's maybe, almost a little fearful that what they have may not last forever, that it might end up being in limited supply, or somebody also who can be materialistic in some cases as well. We have her fine jewels here. It looks like she's definitely a fan of luxury and all of these things. So, and shadow. of course, what does this mean? I do read with reversals, so to me, this would be the opposite. In this case, I'm feeling more like this is going to be a very generous deck. Someone who's not going to hold back, is going to really let me know what is going on. Someone who isn't going to necessarily maybe sugarcoat things. Someone who isn't going to be so concerned with the material things. They're gonna like deeper things, something that goes beyond just what you see. So that's one of my first impressions from that right there. All right, Llewellyn, what do you think of the Goddess Tarot? And here we get the Page of Pentacles and reversed again, reversed Pentacles. Okay, cool. This actually isn't my first time owning this deck. I got this deck in a trade probably 5 years ago, and it was a beautiful deck. I had been lusting after it for quite a while, and then when I got it, I was a little disappointed. You can kind of see by his face the minor arcana, and it's just so sketchy. This card doesn't look completed to me. If a major comes up, I'll show you what I mean. It almost feels like two different decks put together. But the Page of Pentacles to me is definitely an apprentice, somebody who is starting out fresh on an adventure, somebody who is tactile and wants to use their hands. There's a hands-on person, and somebody who's definitely, I'm hearing the word curious come to mind too. Somebody's curious, somebody who likes to explore things very thoroughly. People probably, somebody who would want to take things apart, pick things apart, and, maybe dissect things a bit. So here we have the opposite, or in shadow. It's not always the opposite when it's in shadow for me. Reverse cards can mean a multitude of things. It could be blockages towards that. It could be hesitation towards that. It could be, many different things depending on the situation. I'm not going to go into reversals too long. This video will be forever long. But in reverse, to me, this card means someone who is probably not very detail-oriented, and it's not. There's so much detail in the Llewellyn compared to the Goddess Tarot. The Goddess Tarot is very soft, very simple, and I think the Llewellyn is picking up on this. It's someone who's also not started out. I have a very deep, long relationship with this deck, and because I am so close to it, it's something that I've grown to very close to and very connected with. So definitely picking up on that. Trying to scoot these in frame so you guys can see them. All right, the second question I have is, what is the thing that you like the most about the Llewellyn Tarot? All right, we get the Ten of Staves. Oh, I love this. I love the wood interwoven in between each other. To me, this just speaks of like I was just talking about, the Llewellyn has so many tiny, intricate details that it feels like there's so much, not necessarily symbology, but so many little tiny things that could stand out. Like these little leaves are popping out at me. Those little bitty things that will pop out that could really add something to a reading. I love the sun here. Like there is just opportunity and, definitely a dawn. The dawn's sort of like it's something new, bringing something new to it. Ruining the day. So I think it really likes that the Llewellyn is like that, and it also is very warm. Perhaps that sun there is saying there's going to be a lot of warmth, and I'm going to be able to get on with the deck very easily then. So the Goddess Tarot apparently does like the Llewellyn. It'd be funny to do this. This also, maybe not with your oldest and your newest, but perhaps two decks you don't think would get along. You might get some quite hilarious answers. We have another shadow card here. I'm going to flip it up. Knight of Pentacles. Again, if you just look at his face, I'll have to show you some of the major arcanas. This is still a beautiful deck. Pardon me. I have trimmed both of these. The Goddess Tarot had horrible white borders all the way around, and the Llewellyn had some fat borders on it too. They weren't ugly, but I like the smaller size of these. Here is definitely a very masculine character. Usually there's a lot of movement here. Very fast paced. He seems to be holding up his pentacle sort of in victory here. And I feel that he, that's almost a bit of, I feel a bit of cockiness with the Knight of Pentacles. Like, he's overly confident. He feels like he's won before he's even begun. That kind of thing. So, in Shadow, of course, the Goddess Tarot is an extremely feminine deck. I don't think there's very many males in the deck at all. It's very soft. It's very... it flows very slowly from card to card. You can really just feel the sort of the interconnectedness with it. So there's not this rapid bam, 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 there it is. So it does like that about that. It likes that it takes its time. It likes that it's not very arrogant, that it gives you time to explore the different things within the deck. So here we go. We're going to ask, what do you dislike the most about the Llewellyn? Oh, this is interesting. Another shadow card. Shadows everywhere, guys. Shadows everywhere. Very appropriate. I've been doing some shadow work lately, so. Here we have the beautiful Two of Cups. Oh, gosh. I was just saying there was, like, hardly any males, and here you go. But the Two Cups, to me, is always about connectedness. You can just see the way they're coming together. That's just getting on with something so well with me. I'm casting a weird shadow here. And just being united and, going towards the same goal. So maybe this is what I was referring to what I was talking about earlier, where I feel like the Llewellyn almost is like two different decks. The majors are gorgeous, and they're so detailed, and they almost feel like the minors almost feel as if they are the rough draft to the final product, if that makes any sense. Now, this is just my personal opinion. If you love Llewellyn, don't take offense to that. This is the way that I view the deck. So, I do love this. In reverse, we have these things, sort of maybe missing the mark. I'm feeling that maybe there's not so much as an emotional connection there as there are, like, facts. Maybe the deck's more about facts and, instead of feelings. So I'll have to see. Okay, what do you like or dislike the most about the Goddess Tarot? And here we have a cute fellow. I love this card because, if it will focus, we have a foxtail, guys. This is a fox. That cracks me up. Foxes are my favorite animals. They have been my total medicine for a while now, and I've always been drawn to their playfulness and their fun and their cleverness. In tails, they're sort of like Coyote to me. They're a bit of tricksters. They're really observers. They like to watch people. And here we have a fox, and he's playfully balancing. And there seems to be some storm on the horizon. He is just not focused on that at all. He is just focused right on what he's doing. And he seems to almost be practicing. I spin poi, so I definitely know about doing the motions over and over again. And this affinity just makes over and over again. So in Shadow, what could this card mean? Could be talking about perhaps that the deck is not focused enough. Maybe it's saying that the imagery is maybe the theme or the imagery doesn't come together as much. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. There seems to be a lot of chaos in the background. Maybe that's what you focus on more. Maybe the deck is more sporadic than the Llewellyn likes. So the Llewellyn is definitely a cohesive theme, so maybe it's trying to say it's not balanced because of the masculine and feminine energies as well, too. All very good possibilities. So I'll have to come back to that card. If you ever get stumped on a card, a reverse card specifically, I would definitely recommend flipping it upright, kind of getting a look at it, seeing what that energy is, and saying, when you flip it over, saying, what's stuck? What's missing? Why can't this card be upright? Is it fear? Is it hesitation? What could it be? And that kind of usually helps me through getting stuck like that. So here we have advice for working with the deck. And this is the Goddess Tarot's advice for working with the Llewellyn. And it's telling me that the Llewellyn's not a very direct. Again, upwards we have taking control, taking the reins, someone who's very assertive, someone to me who's very almost coldly intelligent, someone who's more logical and distant from feeling. And again, we get this right here, saying to, maybe it's saying it likes you to have more open-ended questions. The point here going in kind of reminds me of something very direct, something very pointed. So if this was a sword not put in the ground but raised into the air, what would that mean? What would that signify? It would definitely, to me, probably say something about when we raise our swords, we are directing power usually in that way. So maybe the directness of the questions. Maybe it doesn't like you to have something so open-ended or very emotional. Maybe it wants to get right to the point. It wants to, get to the heart of the matter in that way. And this is the Llewellyn's advice for working with the Goddess Tarot. The Queen of Wands. Oh, she's beautiful. Queen of Wands to me is very assertive. She's someone who's confident. If you have any redheads in your family, my sister's a redhead, so I definitely have some experience with redheads. They have most of them do have a very fiery presence. They're very intelligent and they're very sure of themselves, I think is the word I'm looking for here. So I think that this is definitely be confident in what you're asking. Maybe the Goddess Tarot doesn't like so much for you to just, sometimes I ask those open-ended questions, like, just tell me about what's going on. And maybe she's saying that, again, too, kind of almost the same way, that to be more direct and to know what you want and focus on that. And the Goddess Tarot will definitely help you get there. But you got to have a focus. You got to know what you want before you ask. Love that. I love her flower here, too. The flower here is just beauty, just talking about growth and expansion. And this is just getting to the point, getting right to the heart of the matter. Maybe both these decks are very direct. Maybe they both like to have those focus things. Some decks like spreads, some decks don't like spreads. So depending on what it is. This was all done kind of improv, and I'm kind of nervous doing this on camera, but I did it, and I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys going to try this? Are you going to have one of your decks interview another deck? Do you think this is a fun activity? If so, you guys can definitely do a VR. Tag me, and I'd love to see what your all's decks have to say about each other. I might do this off camera with a couple more just to kind of see the kind of reactions and things that I get. I think it would be very fun to do. I hope you all have a fantastic World Tarot Day. Oh, and I wanted to show you. I just edged my Goddess Tarot, and oh, look at that gold. My camera is not going to focus because of these cards, so there we go. I'm trying to get it to... There we go. It's so shiny. It's not as orange as you can see the orange. It's more of a yellow gold versus more of an orange color. But, oh, so beautiful. And I'm just loving it. This is the Cosmic Gold by, it's a Brilliance ink pad. I can't say the name of the company, but I'll definitely post a link down below if you guys are interested. If you have any suggestions as to what I could edge the Llewellyn Tarot with, I would be happy to hear it. I do have like a vintage photo distress ink, and maybe it could benefit from a gold. There's definitely a lot of golden colors in here. And isn't it so pretty trimmed? Oh, my autofocus is off. It's so beautiful trimmed. And what I was saying earlier, being as we didn't get any of those beautiful major arcana. Here we go. Both of these are really good examples. So we have, let's focus on the people. Here we have the Lover's card. And if you look at their faces and, oops, focus on their camera. It's like you're too close, get away. All right, there we go. If you look at their faces, they're so fleshed out. They're so realistic, and the details are just immaculate. I mean, from everything right down to the texture, you can feel these cards. And then you have this. You have the blocky, almost outlined thing. And like I said, maybe this is intentional. Maybe the minors, it's really kind of focusing on the minors play a much smaller role than the majors do. And maybe that's intentional. But anyways, if you have suggestions as to what I could edge these gorgeous cards with, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to hear it and happy to see your video responses. So until next time, guys, bye.